Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us tonight. My name is Kimberly Clement, and I'm the founder of Travel by Destiny, where we believe travel is more than a getaway. It's a gateway to growth, connection, unforgettable stories. Tonight, we're taking you on a virtual journey through the lush green hills and cobblestone streets of one of my favorite places in the world, Ireland. We're here to talk all about our upcoming Taste of Ireland tour. That's happening April 12th through the 17th in 2026. This is a curated experience packed with history, charm, and a touch of whimsy. And of course, plenty of time for storytelling over a pint in a local pub. And I couldn't be more thrilled than to introduce our special guest this evening, Roger Kramer from CIE Tours. Roger's been in the travel industry for nearly 40 years and has spent the last 18 years with CIE Tours. He's based out of Chicago. He covers 9 Midwestern states promoting travel to Ireland, Britain, Scotland, Iceland, Italy, and Spain. He travels to Ireland twice a year and brings with him not only deep expertise, but a heartfelt connection to the destination that really shines through. CIE Tours is one of the most trusted names in guided travel to Ireland, and Roger brings insider knowledge and an enthusiasm that's absolutely contagious. So sit back, grab a cup of tea or a glass of whiskey, and let's dive into the magic of the Emerald Isle together. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat, or you can message me after the webinar. So, Roger, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Kimberly. That was very nice. And I have to agree with everything you said about Ireland. Um, it is a phenomenal place, and like you said, I've been there at least twice a year. And I will then, what I have done is put together an itinerary based on the tour that you are taking. You can see you're going to be going over in April. And I'm telling you that it's a phenomenal time to go. We usually like to say March or April or September or October, and you picked one of the months. March, maybe not so much of the fact that it is rather busy over there with the St. Patrick's. But what I'm going to do is go through and give you an overview of your itinerary. If you had an opportunity to read it, you're going to, I put pictures to those words. CIE is we've been under that heading for over 90 years. And as Kimberly pointed out, not only do we do Ireland, but we also do other destinations as well. I'm going to show you one of the coaches that you would be using, and on an average, we use 4 and 5-star hotels. CIE, I should explain to you, stands for, and you're going to forget it once I say it, is Chorus Impa Arens. And what that is, it is the transportation division of the Irish government. They require us to put together quality programs and trying to and do the keeping the price down. One big thing that I want to point out to you is no options. We don't sell options to you. So everything that's in the itinerary is what you're going to experience. We don't expect you to be charged to go and do extra things. So it's all included. These are the coaches. The coaches, we normally lease them. We had 32 new ones this year. And in the coaches, they have facilities for plugging your phone in, your iPad. They have a Wi-Fi in there so you can stay in touch with people at home. So as you can see, they are new and they're spacious. All right. Your flight from the States will end you in Dublin. Understand, Ireland is only 150 miles wide by 300 miles north to south. So, as Kimberly pointed out, it is jam-packed with history, culture, beauty, and especially the people. And I'll explain more of that as we go along. But you can see that you're going to go into Dublin, and when you arrive, you're going to be right downtown Dublin, and this is the Liffey River that divides Dublin. Now, on the first day, you're going to have an opportunity after you arrive, and it's usually in the morning. This is one way to get adapted to the time change, for one. Two, it gives you the opportunity, because the last thing we want you to do is when you arrive at that hotel, you're going to possibly be tired and suffering a little bit of jet lag. So if you went in, you're going to see that bed and say, "I'm going to take a nap," and you end up sleeping because of the time change for 5, 6 hours, and then you're up raring to go. So what we insist you do is that go out, and here's what you're going to have an opportunity to take is the hop on, hop off coach. This coach stops at 23 different stops. And if you want to get off, 6 minutes later or so, another coach is going to come behind it, and it's going to continue your route. So this is what you want to do. The driver will narrate as he's going around, so it does lead to a lot of interest. The first time that I took this many years ago, the guide, he sang as he went, and he would sing about the next destination. He had a phenomenal voice. I think all Irish have a phenomenal voice. But the point was, I stayed on that coach through all the stops. He ended up at the bus barn. He gets off, and I'm still sitting there. Well, I had to wait 45 minutes for another coach. So I'm kind of urging you, don't go all the way through if you like the singing of the driver. Places that you'll see is the gardens. Right here, if you decided you wanted to get off and go into the gardens, you could. This is also where the ambassador to the United States has his home. You can go on down to the cathedral, and it's located right in the middle of town. And if you decided you wanted to go in and see it, you could do this. All this entire day is you're on your own to see all of these places. And then, of course, right in the city itself. Off to your left, and I'll point this out later, is the general post office. And I'll explain something to you in a moment. Well, actually, it's a moment's up. This is one of the 4 stops or 4 places you can go into. You're going to be given a voucher, whether it be for this, and I'll explain the other 3 to you in a minute. But we put the general post office in here because this is where the 1916 rebellion started. A lot of history. There's a museum in there. And if this is the kind of thing that you want to see, it's available to you. In fact, you'll see the bullet pop marks on those columns when you go in. So there's a lot of history there. If you don't want to do that, you can go to the Jameson Distillery. And there you'll have a tour of the entire facility. Or if you want to go to Teeling's, which is another distillery, that is available to you as well. The Epic Center. If any of you have any Irish roots, this is the place to go for the simple fact there's a history. It's the only digital museum in Europe. And you can go through, and like you see these people here, they will tell you their story. I have to point out to you Annie Moore on the right side. Annie Moore, if you went down to Cove on the southern part of Ireland, you're going to see her statue, and she's with her 2 brothers, and she's pointing west. You go to Ellis Island, you'll see the same statue, and they're pointing back to Ireland. They were the first immigrants to come through Ellis Island. She then they all 3 stayed in the United States, but they moved to Kansas, where she married an attorney. But her brothers got kind of homesick, so they wanted to come back. So they came back to Ireland to see the parents and stayed here for a while, but then they went back and wanted to go back to the United States. Unfortunately, they boarded the Titanic. There are stories around every corner, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. It's the idea that there's a lot of history that you'll hear. And of course, one of the stops you're going to make if you want to go one of those four stops that you can do. You do one, and you can decide which one you want to do is Guinness and the Guinness Warehouse. A lot of people do this for obvious reasons, but you can see, I mean, they produce over 8 million pints a day out of this particular place. But you can see it gives you a history. In fact, you go to one of the floors and you learn how to pour the perfect pint. And here in the States, they just do it right out of the tap or open up the can. Over there, it's a minute and 18 seconds. And that's how you learn to pour it. And it's fun to learn, but secondly, you get a certificate for doing it. And thirdly, you have a chance to drink that first pint of Guinness. This is Guinness. Arthur Guinness signed the contract for this building plus the surrounding areas for 9,000 years, and he did it at 45 euro a year. So I think he got a good deal. If you look at the very top, you'll see the gravity bar, and that's where you're going to have an opportunity not only to see all of Dublin, but then again, if you didn't go to the Guinness University, this is where you'd go to get your pint in Guinness. This is your hotel for 2 nights. Very stately hotel. It is a 5-star hotel, but it gives you the opportunity to then the next day when our guide meets you at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he's going to be taking you on another tour of Dublin, places that you may have seen, but you're also, when you were on the hop on, hop off, but you're also going to be going by. And this is Trinity College. This is also where the Books of Kells are located. And if you wanted to come here the day before or do it later on your own, you can. But he'll take you on tour. We'll also take you down into the area where you're going to see, in fact, I'll go to the next picture. Let me do one more. Yeah, they're all somewhat similar, but this one actually is better, and I apologize. The windows, as you can see, are large at the bottom, but as you go up to the top, they get smaller. And the reason why that is because the rich lived on the bottom, middle income lived on the middle, and the poor lived on the top. Because there's no elevators or any of these business or any of these apartments or homes. But I have to tell you, you notice they're all brightly colored painted. Back in the day, the Queen of England wanted them all painted black. So they did have them all painted black. But what happened is Murphy and Patty went out one night and probably had 7 or 8 too many pints. And when they came home in the wee hours of the morning, they went in through the black door, went up to the room, in the bedroom, crawled into bed, and finding out they were in the wrong apartment. So the next day, all the ladies got together and decided we're not letting that happen again, and they had all the doors repainted. That is one of the many stories or fables that you're going to hear when you're over there. But he's also going to take you around where the shopping areas are in Dublin. Maybe you experienced them the day before because that's one of the 23 stops. And these are all the shopping areas. And you can see it's not for cars, it's for pedestrians to walk up and down. And you can see to the right there, that is the hop off bus. So you will run into those wherever you go. And you're going to be seeing the river, which divides, and there's a lot of history, and they'll tell you all about it. But that afternoon, you're going to have an opportunity to go to the Dublin Castle after the conclusion of the tour. And it is still being used as we speak today, because this is where the parliament or government officials actually reside in as far as doing their, just like the White House, or excuse me, Congress. But you can see how stately it is, and they hold a lot of impressive meetings and as well as entertainment here. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. That evening, you're going to start out Ireland with going to the Merry Plowboys, and this is a great dinner theater. You will be entertained by some good Irish music, and dance. You will also then have your dinner here. and it is a lot of fun. You'll enjoy this. South into Ireland, leaving Dublin. Now, remember, I told you it's only 150 miles wide, but the roads don't necessarily go that straight. I promise you. But we'll leave it to the drivers to take care of that. But once you've left the metropolitan cities like Dublin, or you went to Belfast, or any other cities, you're going to get out into the countryside. And this is where you're going to see the beauty. And you never know what you're going to see. At the same time, it's 40 shades of green. It never rains in Ireland, so I don't know how they get the 40 shades of green, but it is gorgeous. But you can see how it, and I don't know if you can see my arrow on here, but where how the land is partitioned off. And I may have another picture or two as they divided the land back in the day, and even now the farmers have left it for their keeping their livestock as well as farming. Those walls had two names to them. They were called the penny walls, and they were also called the famine walls, because during the Great Famine, the lords would have these people come in and farm, and they would get a penny a day to build those walls. So, and a lot of what they did, so the king or the lord took it over. On your way there, you're going to have a chance to see the Rocket Castle. Absolutely gorgeous. It sits on a bluff overlooking Tipperary. And of course, we've all heard the road to Tipperary, but it is a unique castle. I just love, some of these castles date several hundreds of years ago, but look how they stand. Even the towers here. But the thing is, my house would never stand several hundred years like this. Oh, we're heading to Blarney and the Blarney town, and we all know what's going to happen in Blarney. This is the Blarney Castle. Now, understand, and I hope you can see, but on the right side of the castle going up, all the way up to the top, you're going to climb. It's in a turret all the way up, not the one in front, but the one in back that's connected to the castle. You go all the way up to the top. It's 110 steps. The steps range anywhere from 2 inches to a foot. It was made that way deliberately to deter the forces to come in and try to take the castle over. All right. But when you do get to the very top, this is what you'll do. Bend over backwards and kiss the Blarney Stone. You can see now as you look down below where you are. Now I'll go back, and you can see up at the very top. This is what they're seeing when you look down. All right. You're given the gift of gab. My wife says after a few pints, I always have the gift of gab, but this is where you really get it. The gardens around the Blarney Castle are beautiful. You're there in April. All the gardens that you have an opportunity to see will probably be in bloom, and they are beautiful. Then you're going to head out to the Ring of Kerry, or you're heading out towards the Kerry, and it's right along the ocean. And you're going to head to Killarney. Of all the towns, Kinsale and Killarney are my favorite towns because they are so unique. Between the shops, the restaurants, the pubs, it's just magnificent. Your hotel is located where I just showed you that, only a block away from downtown. You come out the front door, you go left, and you're down there. But you can see they also have pubs connected to it. There are over 9,000 pubs in Ireland. So I know you're going to find one. And I strongly urge you, after your dinner, or if you decide that maybe you want to skip dinner and go down to a pub and have fish and chips or something on your own, do it. Because what I urge you to do is go into these pubs, because that's where you're going to meet the Irish. And they play, and the music that they played. Locals get together and come in. If you don't like the music in one pub, you've got what, 9,999 more to go and find, because I'm telling you, it is absolutely fun. When my wife and I were there last October, on our way back, from Italy. We stopped in Ireland, and I said, "We're going to do the pint test." And she just looked at me and shook her head. So we went into this pub, and I said, and she says, "Tell me this pint test." And I said, "Before I have two sips out of this pint, someone's going to come up and talk to us." And she said, "Okay." I had one sip, and this guy come up and said, "Oh, lad, where you be from?" And I told him I looked at him and I thought, I'm from Gesundheit, Illinois. He just looked at me and shook his head, and my wife really shook her head. I thought she was going to kick me. But he stood there and finally said, "Oh, yes." He said, "Patty and the family, they moved there. You must know them." Well, my wife started laughing because she said, "He got you." But the thing is, after 7 or 8 pints, we became the best of friends because we exchanged thoughts, exchanged ideas, told him where we're from because he had never been there, as well as what we thought of Ireland. But this is the fun you have at these pubs. And you don't have to drink beer. Just go in and have a soda or water, whatever you want to do. All right, we're heading out to the Ring of Kerry, and it's the furthest point into the Atlantic anywhere in Europe. And I'm telling you, it has a lot of beauty as you go out, and you're going to see that. Between waterfalls to lakes, uh, to peat that they use to heat their homes. It is all there, and it is fun to see. But you're going to stop at Moriarty's, and the reason why this is important, you're going to find other shops all throughout Ireland. Moriarty's, we feel it is quality. You're going to like their merchandise between the knits and their cashmeres, their jewelry, and things that are made in Ireland and it is brought here. So look at that because I think you'll enjoy that. But after that, then you're heading out to the Ring of Kerry. Understand you're going right along the Atlantic Ocean, and their mountain ranges there are the tallest or highest in Ireland. But you can see the roads. Can you imagine a coach going down these roads? But you can see how beautiful it is. You're going to get down into this area, and this is where out in the mountain. In fact, if you'll allow me, I'm going to go back, and you can see these mountain ranges that look like they're not attached. They're not. This is where monks lived for over 600 years. They didn't come on shore, and they survived out there. And you're going to hear the history of that here at the Skillings Experience. It is something to hear, and it's hard to believe. I believe you'll enjoy this. And they also, another picture of it too is out here. Now, Star Wars did a lot of their filming on some of these islands. But you're going to see fishing villages on your way back to Killarney, and they are unique. You can see how brightly colored they are painted. It's just fun. And please make sure you take plenty of film because there's a picture around every corner. Oh, would you believe this is our #1 attraction? People love this because they will enjoy watching. I call him a sheep herder, but he's a farmer that will have these dogs round up the sheep, and it's impressive. All he has to do is do a little whistle or a snap of a finger, and they go out in the field and bring these sheep in. They start training these dogs right around 12 weeks old, and it is something to see. Everybody enjoys this. I thought that sheep up on the right corner was cute, very neat. And you're back in Killarney. You're going to be getting dinners every evening. You're going to be getting breakfast every morning. And the breakfasts themselves are of a buffet style. And it's got Irish and American breakfast together, and you can order stuff made if you want, as well as at night at dinner. You're going to have a choice of 3 to 4 items on the menu. And after you've had dinner, that's when I insist that you go out and visit the town, whether you do shopping or you want to go to some of the pubs. All right, we're heading north. All right, and you're going to see a boat, which is actually a ferry. Now, I want to point something out to you. And again, I apologize. I don't know if you can see my arrow, but if you went to Killarney and not take the ferry and go out to Limerick to the right, and then go up to the Cliffs of Moher, you're talking an easy hour and a half in order to get there. Maybe even 2 hours to going via Limerick. But what happens is you're going to go from this town, and I thought this town was unique just with the pretty flowers on the buildings. But you're taking this is the ferry, and the ferry will take you across, and I'll show you in a minute the Shannon River. But you can see the coaches come right onto the ferry. You can get off and go up on the observation deck and watch, because there was when we went last fall, we saw porpoises swimming next to the ferry. And what happens is, oh, pardon me, hold on. Sorry. The Shannon River. And it's 25 minutes across instead of taking anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to where you're going. And you're heading up to the Cliffs of Moher. The Cliffs of Moher are beautiful for the fact that they're 9 miles long and they're roughly 700 feet high. They're unique and they're beautiful. You can walk out and you can see. Now, this picture I took a few years back, and it looks like I'm standing right on the edge. And believe me, I am not. I'm scared of heights for this. But however, when I went there, to my left, there were like three kids, young teenagers, that were sitting with their feet dangling over the edge. And I just looked at them and thought, you can't be doing this. You can see it's all limestone, and the wind and the weather beat against this. And as you can see, it falls down. Now, whoops. If all right, if you went the other way, you're going to go see O'Brien's castle or tower, and what it is was he owned all of this area up in this, and he had this built. But they have built, as you can see right by the tower, a walkway, and it goes all the way down to the visitor center. So you're not necessarily walking along the edge. This is fun. This evening, you're going to go to Bunratty Castle. Bunratty Castle is, as you can see, it was built, and it's still to protect this particular area. And you'll see this yellow. That is, I know I can say it, a pub. I know that word was going to come out, where the knights used to go here and have a pint. But you are going to have an opportunity. You will go up inside of the castle. And what you're going to do is you're going to have a medieval dinner or feast. And it is fun. I'm telling you, it's fun. And these people entertain while you're having dinner. Between the singing and the music, you'll thoroughly enjoy this. And you can see the crowd that is here. And they say that you're not supposed to use silverware. However, if you need it, you can get it. Not a problem. You're heading back to Limerick. Now we went back down again because you're going to be staying in Limerick for one night, but you're going to have a chance to go up and down the side streets, and you're going to see again between the shopping and just doing what you want to do. And this is your hotel right on the river. And from here, you're going to be catching a flight out of Shannon back to the United States. But you can see, this is the people. This is where you have fun. This is what I encourage you to do, is to go out and meet these people because they want to meet you. And it would be necessary. I've actually added some Italian flavor along with some British as well as Iceland. But I want you to go out and find the music. And your flight back. And basically everything that I told you about is included, as you can see. And it tells you everything that you're going to do. whether it be for the dog trials or the ferry across the Shannon. And you can see the things that you'll be doing. You'll also be getting a departure backpack. The backpack will come with a tagged luggage tags as well as an adapter. The adapter you're going to need for your plugins in the hotels because their plugins are a lot different than ours. So we provide you with that. And that plugin or adapter can be used all throughout Europe. The one thing I wanted to tell you was is that once you arrive into Dublin, let's go back to day one. Once you arrive into Dublin, the guide will be taking you out to our coach. You take your, and there'll be someone there to lead you, but take you out to the coach. You bring your own suitcase. Once you get to the coach, our driver will put it onto the coach. You'll get to the hotel, and from there, we make sure it is brought in and when the rooms are ready, the porters will bring it up and put it outside your door. The next morning, or when you're leaving a day or two later, you just put it outside the door, and the porters bring it back out to the coach. So you're really not doing anything with your luggage. And the one thing I'm pointing out here is that service charge or tips for the porters is you do not have to do. And that is the tour. Is there any questions? And if not, I'm sure you can address them to Kimberly if you want.
Let's check the chat. Kelly asked, will the tour guides talk about Irish folklore?
They talk about everything. I think they've kissed the Blarney Stone a lot of times, but they will go through all of that. Not only the history, but they will tell you other stories that has to do with Ireland or Irish. Yes.
And then there's another question. Are the hotels ADA elevators and walk-in showers?
They can have them when you make the reservation. You let Wendy know or Melissa know so she can put it into the record.
Okay. And one more question on here. Is there transport that can be arranged from Shannon to Dublin if they want to fly round trip from Dublin?
Dublin? Yes. Again, go back to Wendy or I'm sorry, Melissa, and let her know that you've got some people that want to go back and stay an extra day or two or whatever they want to do, and she can help arrange that.
Okay. Isn't there something special about the Shannon Airport?
Well, first of all, it's not as big and busy as the Dublin airport. It's and the service out of there, and I'm sure again Melissa will arrange for your flights if you haven't already, and she can assist you on that. But I don't think you're going to mind it, but it is smaller than the Dublin airport.
Okay. Well, Roger, thank you so much for that incredible overview. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm ready to pack my bags. So the Taste of Ireland tour is perfect for both first-time visitors and those who truly connect with the spirit of Ireland.
Yes.
From the ancient castles to the rolling green countryside, the warm hospitality, it sounds like, that stays with you long after you return home. I'm looking forward to going in a pub and someone asks me where I'm from.
There you go.
So if you're ready to secure your spot, reach out to me directly. My email is located in the chat, and I'll walk you through the booking process. I'm also giving a special free ebook to everyone who books. What it is, it's a guide to preparing for Ireland and capturing your journey through travel journaling. Once again, Roger, thank you for being here tonight and sharing your expertise and passion. But we forgot one thing, Roger.
Uh-oh.
I talked to Melissa.
Yeah.
Anyone who books by June 20th gets a 5% discount.
Oh, good, good, good.
So we have that as well. So,
Take
and
advantage.
everyone who joined us, I can't wait to travel with you. Ireland is calling. Are you ready to answer? I know I am. So I will say Salante and good night.
Thank you.